All right, live now. Okay. All right, run this back from the top. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Monday evening. Another edition of KFTV Live, the Bleacher Report simulcast, CP the Franchise, and today's guest, he is the lead pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church here in New York City, Harlem World, USA, to be exact, and a diehard Knicks fan, man. He's my guy, my pastor, Michael A. Walren. And on today's show, man, after a brutal weekend, the Knicks certainly failed the elite test. So we got to talk about where we go from here, man. Couple 20-some-odd games left. We got to recalibrate and talk about how this team gets to the finish line, finish strong, and head into the playoffs with some momentum, man. So hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Another KFTV Bleacher Report simulcast. Let's go. Oh, man. Pastor Mike, welcome to the show, man. How you doing, man?
Man, good, bro. Good. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad. Let me tell you, man, I've been excited to get on this show, and because I'm a Knicks fan, man. And let me tell you, I got to say this. Years ago, so I don't know when I was a Knicks fan, my whole household.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the last championship the Knicks won, I turned 16 days after. May 10th, 1973 was the last championship. And I turned 2 years old. I remember telling folk in college, oh, yeah, before I have a grandchild, the Knicks going to have a championship. My granddaughter's 3, bro.
Still waiting.
I'm waiting, man. It's been torture, bro.
Still
torture, man. It has been rough.
Still waiting on number 3, man. But, you know, listen, it's an honor to have you on the show. I ran into you at the Delta Club during the home opener when you mentioned you were coming. I was at the Delta Club, and I tapped my girl and said, babe, that's Pastor Mike. Pastor Mike is in there. And then we connected, and here we are, man. So
I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Definitely appreciate the time. But for the Knicks, wasn't such a good time for us, the fans, this weekend. Back-to-back blowouts against the top seed in the East. You go to Cleveland, they get blown out. Then they head to Boston, they get blown out. What did you make of this reality here?
I'm going to tell you, what I first noticed, and I'm sure you saw it, the Cleveland game, bro, I saw fatigue, bro. I mean, I didn't see them. They were playing, they had spurts of defense. But I was watching Cleveland snatch up rebounds that they shouldn't have got. We were just a step behind on many ways. And I think we saw it, in Boston to a degree. I think one of the criticisms that the Knicks have, and I think they're going to continue to have, is the minutes they putting in. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Josh Hurt misses games, comes back, plays 40 minutes. I mean, so I think that is going to be a critique of this team. My biggest, I think, fear is that, we don't make it past the second round. Going to these playoffs. But something has to happen. I've seen Tibbs, and I think everybody's noticed, working more people into the rotation a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think we got to see more of that if we plan on going further in the playoffs. We can't get to a point we depend on Jalen to drop 40 every game and think we're going to be successful. I mean, he doesn't have to do that anymore, but I don't want us to be in a position where him or Cat got to drop big points for us to be in the game, because that's not really sustainable, I think, through the playoffs, man.
Yeah, and what you saw yesterday, as you mentioned, them bringing more guys into the rotation, the energy changed in that Boston game when they went to the bench. When McBride got in there, Payne, Shamet, all of a sudden the tempo started speeding up. They letting the threes fly, and then it impacted their defense. They got back in and started playing harder. But then on the flip side, you take it, for example, like in the fourth quarter when Jalen cuts the lead down to 7, and he sits. And I got fans on Twitter talking about, man, why is Tibbs taking Brunson out? Why is he taking Brunson out? And I'm just like, yo, you're going to have to pick your poison with Boston. He's got to rest at some point.
At some point. You can't, not against Boston, man. I mean, like we said, Boston is an elite team. They have a lot of weapons, bro. And you can't overwork your main guy like that. I mean, I've said there's been spurts where in games we've won, I think this is a familiar criticism. We up by 15 and 20 at the end of the game. You got the starter still in the game. I get it. Because, listen, I play sports in high school. Nobody wants to come out the game. I'm not a pro, but nobody wants to come out the game. They want to play. But at the same time, you got to have the long plan. We're trying to advance in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, our record is great, but it's about advancing in the playoffs and how well we do in the playoffs. But people get frustrated, as you said, they get upset. Jalen comes out the game, but man, it's not easy to play 40 plus minutes against Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
And still think you're going to have gas to drop buckets at the end of the game. It's just not sustainable, man. So folks got to understand that. And I'm still looking to see what is that magic rotation, man. Like, what's that magic rotation that says, oh, when I make these substitutes, it's another ball game. It keeps us. Something is added. And I think everybody's waiting to see what that rotation is. I haven't necessarily seen it consistently.
That's been the toughest part, because I think, as good of a job that as Leon Rose has done since he's been here, he has elevated Tibbs's insecurity with that bench by leaving him with little depth. And so, campaign is campaign. Landry Shaman has been all around the league, up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
They are who they are. Inconsistent role players. They don't have the Dantes and, the Derrick Rose coming off, but guys that you could really rely upon for a lengthy spell. So you're right. Tibbs has to find the right combination to get him through, or else they're not going to make it.
No, I mean, you pointed out it's a talent thing too. So, I'm like, listen, here's what I've learned over the past years. I'm not going to question Leon Rose, right? I think everybody was like, yo, what is he doing? And then you see this team come together like, oh, okay, I got it. Let me be quiet. But I think that it's a talent issue. I think you got to find the right combination. I think we need help on the inside for sure. We don't have that dominating threat that makes people second guess coming inside. I mean, we're missing that piece. I don't know, man. I think unless you have yourself, you're in a position where you almost got to work the guys hard, because we can't get that killer rotation off the bench.
You can't. And now the problem becomes, you have Hart coming back from, and what he has admitted to be a chronic knee issue. OG coming back from the foot. He did not look good in those 2 games this weekend. He's not moving
at
well,
all.
Pastor Mike.
At all.
He's not moving well.
The Cleveland game was obvious he was off, man. I just watched how he was moving. Even going to the basket, you saw something was off. And he didn't really get aggressive going to the basket. OG surprised me when he came to the Knicks last year when you saw his offensive output. And even early in the season.
Right.
Wait a minute, OG got offensive game. Right. Okay.
Playoffs, he looked good. Like, he had the bag in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute, OG can really ball. Okay, so he played both sides. He go defense hard. That's your guy. And he can drop buckets. But, man, then further, let me just say, the night he got hurt, when he went down, when I heard him, when he grimaced off a non-contact, I said, oh, my son and I were like, oh, my God. It's like, is this the season? Like, what just happened? Those never look good, and I think there's a part of the Knicks, OG for sure, you want to get back in. But what I've seen the past 2 games is not strong, man.
It's not strong. And I've been saying since he came back, like, he's a guy I would for sure want to see them limit his minutes from here to the end, because he's not moving well. It seems like it's shaking his confidence. His head is always down. He's not really moving so well. And so, by the end of this week, they will have the wherewithal to sign a veteran off of the buyout market. A lot of people are looking at a TJ Warren. He's been around, journeyman around the league. He's with the Westchester Knicks. He knows the system. Another guy like a Chuma Okeke, another guy, defensive scrapper, not an offensive threat, but certainly a scrapper. And regardless of how these guys play, they need somebody that could just eat up some minutes to allow these guys to rest, man.
Yes, and you don't feel like you're losing a lot when you come off. Because at the end of the day, if you got a guy who's scrapping on defense, it could sustain you. Because when I watch, like the Cleveland game, for example, one of the things I saw improve with the Knicks is weak side defense, right? And that backside rotation. Cleveland, it was non-existent. It was not present. And that's why I said it looked like fatigue, because the defensive rotations were just off, right? So I think with OG coming, you get excited. But if OG is not 100%, that hurts on both sides.
That's a big loss.
That hurts big on both sides. I mean, Josh is going to do what Josh is going to do. And Josh is one of those players who every time I watch Josh surprises me, man. I mean, he is, and like, he's the heart of the team. At the end of the day, he's the engine. He's the engine, because the things he's able to, he's a ball. He knows how to get around that ball. He's a ball hound. He knows how to get the ball. He knows how to be in the right position. Is his outside jump shot inconsistent? No, but he can hit the big shot when he needs. I mean, he has a high basketball IQ and is a great player. But you need that guy down the stretch. We don't need him limping into these playoffs. You don't need OG at 70% if we think we're going to get out the first round. Because let me tell you, it has you questioning whether we can get out the first round, right? And I want to believe we can if we can maintain that 3 seed. But man, you just don't know. You don't know because games like I don't know what it is like Chicago shouldn't be a hard game.
Yeah,
and
they don't have Levine. Levine's out of there. You know,
no.
they lost a lot of firepower.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, we barely won, right? We barely won. That shouldn't be a hard. For whatever reason, they got our number. But I'm just really concerned. I'm not feeling good going into this last stretch because we're not looking strong at all right now, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you said, the answer would be what kind of signs can we make with these vets? But I think defense is what I've learned with the Knicks is that defense drives it. When they're on defensively, everything clicks out of that. When they're on defensively, everything rolls out that defense. Offensive schemes, everything rolls. When they're slow and off, nothing looks good. I mean, like I said, they made that run against Boston, but it just wasn't enough, man. And if we can't beat those teams, Cleveland, Boston, and the like, man, we're going to struggle, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, especially when you play Cleveland and Boston, you get up to the elites. OKC showed the same thing. If you're not able to disrupt them defensively, like create turnovers and get out in transition and get easy baskets, what they've shown is that even though the Knicks have one of the best offenses statistically, when they lock you in that half court, they can expose the Knicks. Because as you mentioned with Josh Hart, one of the issues that the Knicks have with Josh Hart when he's in that lineup is he has a tendency to shy away from taking an open shot.
Absolutely.
And so teams are leaving him wide open because they got to pick and choose what they're going to take away, right? They're going to shadow Towns and double. They're going to shadow Brunson and throw a lot of attention to him. So with Hart, they're saying, hey, when you're ready to shoot, you get ahead. We're good.
And the only way you count is to just keep shooting.
You got to shoot.
But when he passes off, I mean, like you said it. When there's open shots, nobody on him, and he's looking to dish. Shoot the shot, like keep shooting. It's like when I was watching the St. John's game the other night. You know, Patino tells the guy, just keep shooting, no matter what.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep shooting. Just keep shooting. And I feel with Josh, the only way you take pressure off, as you said, off of Cat and Jalen, because people are going to double down, is to keep shooting. Make that because you're going to hit something. And he's been shown that he can hit a big shot. Just keep shooting, man, because I can't afford for people to lay off of him defensively and come down, as you said, shadowing, doubling. Like, nah, not with Josh. I mean, I'm telling you, bro, like that game against Boston had me really concerned.
Yeah.
Really concerned.
Yeah.
Man. Those two games had me really concerned.
For sure.
But I got a theory. All
right, let's hear it.
Here's my theory.
All right.
OKC, let me tell you, OKC is a beast.
Yeah.
Right? So let me tell you, OKC, I think, got a secret weapon. Now, this is a bit funny. I'm being funny here. They got a secret. My best friend is the chaplain for OKC.
I know that. Yeah. I remember when you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I'm like, the Knicks don't have a chaplain, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. They need that.
We got to get you in there. We got to call Leon and get you to the locker room.
Man. I'm telling you, man, because I remember going to Oklahoma when they weren't that strong, and I would be with him, man. Before the game, he goes into the locker room, he talks to the players, kind of get them pumped, says a word, and then move on. But man, I went to the last time I went. I was like, these guys are really good, bro. I was like, y'all got a young team, y'all got a strong team. And when they got Hart, I was devastated. Bro. I said, look, I was devastated. I said, no, they're a problem. They're about to be a problem. Yeah. And they are a problem. They are a real problem, bro. The only thing that could work against them is experience in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly.
That's what I would agree with you. And the West is such a beast. You know, the West is such a beast, man.
It's crazy right now, man. But I think the Knicks, at the end of the day, are the Knicks the third best team in the East? Yes. But there's such a gap between right now the Knicks
Big gap.
and the top two that that third seed right now is kind of an illusion to a degree because we're not really playing as a strong team.
Yeah.
I don't feel. Let me tell you something. Knicks against the Cleveland or Boston in 7 games, I don't feel good about that at all. I don't, and I hate to say that because I really believe in the Knicks team. But my goodness, it's just rough this year, man. And I think last year was such a. I mean, let me just be honest. For Knicks fans, this is the most exciting we've been about a Knicks team in a minute.
Long time.
Even, I mean, people talk about the mellow days, and Knicks were good, but this team got that it factor that you just get excited to watch them play, man. I don't know if I've been excited to watch them ball, but I'm also concerned about that real fatigue kicking in with these minutes they logged. I did not think that Josh coming back was going to drop 40 minutes last night.
Yeah.
I did not think he was going to put 40 minutes in last night. That didn't make sense to me. If someone's coming off an injury, and OG he didn't put a lot of minutes like as much as Josh, but he didn't look good.
He didn't look good. He was not fluid at all. Now, one guy who is on his way back probably this week, according to the reports, is the Block Nest monster, Mitchell Robinson, man. What are you thinking about Mitch's return and its impact on the rotation, his impact on the rotation?
So let me say, let's say Mitch was healthy in the top of the year. Knicks are scary at that point, right? You push Cat out to the 4, and you got Mitch at the 5. I think that's with all those pieces, that's a devastating team, bro. I mean, Josh coming off the bench, that adds some bench contribution because I'm not starting him. You got Mitch, but my concern with Mitch now is being in shape. I mean, that's my concern. You at the stretch of the season now. On some levels, if he's coming in with these fresh legs, he's adding to the lineup. But if he still got to get into playing shape, yeah, that's gonna be problematic a little bit. But I do like even a not in shape Mitch is still problematic in the middle because of what people know him for.
Right.
So I think his presence is going to add something. And I actually think the obvious person who benefits from his presence is Cat. I mean, that's the obvious person who benefits. So I'm excited about it, but I want to see how I hope he does get in the lineup, and I want to see how many minutes he plays and how he looks. I don't expect a whole lot off rip, but I think that by the time, again, if he works in, builds his time, builds his stamina, really gets in the flow of the game, by the time playoff comes, I'm hoping he's strong. He's strong because we need that piece.
Yeah, that is the hope, man. And once again, salute to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Salute to everybody watching on YouTube, Bleacher Report, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram. We are live everywhere for the 5 p.m. edition of the show. If you guys are at work or leaving work, type in #grind in the chat, and we will shout you guys out, man. CP the Franchise, and I am talking to the head pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church here in New York City, Uptown Harlem World, my pastor, Pastor Michael A. Walren, man. So salute to Pastor Mike. Definitely appreciate this conversation. And yeah, as you mentioned with Mitch, people saying he's not the savior. I don't think you should look at it like that. I think you should look at it as someone who can help plug some of the many holes with this team. And it starts with Karl-Anthony Towns. The statistics show yesterday in Boston, he was picked as the defender in the pick and roll 50 times yesterday in Boston. They ran him through the gauntlet because they know in a game you're trying to create advantages. That is the guy. And look, the Knicks, Thibodeau gets criticized for the drop coverage. We did a film breakdown as to why that's not going to work against Boston. They took that apart. They moved Towns up to the level. They took that apart. They pre-switched on the opposite side of Towns. Boston dumps it to Porzingis. He goes back to Towns' side, and they catch him again in drop coverage. He's a marked man.
In my mind, I thought I was wanting to see what Tibbs would do because I knew Celtics would be ready to deal with that. I want to see how the adjustments we made. I didn't see them. It were not adjustments really. And I'm gonna say this: there've been a few times because the only fan I think may be crazy to me is my son. My son go ham. I gotta calm him down. My son go ham. And so he always yells, fight through the picks. It's like we don't fight through these picks. Like we're not as aggressive and anticipating the pick sometime, man. We keep getting caught in it. Like, but you said it, they exposed something. And let me tell you something. Boston's not the only one who knows how to show the weakness of the Knicks at this point. I think we're seeing it. And That's the only reason, like you said, I think Mitch becomes this kind of unknown factor, variable in this moment now, and having him there will hopefully will make the Knicks better. But I just, and I think so. I think I want to see what that rotation looks like. I want to see what it looks like if you put in my hypothetical rotation. If you put Jalen, Bridges, OG, Cat, Mitch, right? If that's the lineup, what does that lineup at full strength look like? What does that lineup look like? I don't know if that's going to be, but what does that lineup look like?
Yeah.
And I, to me, that could be a dangerous lineup if they on, and if they on with the rotations. If they on, I'm not worried about offense really. I'm telling you, I'm not really as worried about offense. It's defense.
They got to get stops, man.
Yeah, they got to stop the ball. You can't trade. You can't get down by 20 and start trading buckets. So once you got to be able to stop, and they're not showing it. They ain't showing in Cleveland. They ain't showing in Boston. Even though they made a little run, they didn't show it. But when they struggled against Chicago, I said, man, tomorrow. That night, we were sitting there. I said, we're going to have a problem tomorrow night against Cleveland.
Second night of a back-to-back. You can't even get off the court early. You can't get out the court early.
And we didn't look. So I said, this is not going to be good. And my son was like, they're going to get blown out against Cleveland. I said, nah, I refuse. You know? I was like, you was on it, bro, because they got thrashed.
Yeah.
Man.
They
got thrashed.
They certainly did. And, you know, one of the things that you mentioned, Hart, to me, them not being able to keep Hart was one of the biggest losses. You know, when they lost him in free agency, fans was like, because I was tripping. I went on I did 3 shows, man, just going crazy that the CBA cost us Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, it was just a product of him developing and being a good player. They signed him for $5 million. He left for $30 million. So,
you can't be mad at him. He got the bread, so you can't be mad at him. Devo was a loss we could recover from. Hartenstein to me was not one that was recoverable. That was very big. Because again, imagine plugging Hart into this lineup right now. Man. Imagine this team with Hartenstein.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Mitch hurt, there's no losses.
Yeah.
So you got an element of somebody who can do what he needs to do in the middle. I mean, that to me was a big. When Devo left, I said, okay, all right, that's fine. When Hart, I was like, ugh. I was like, nah, bro, that hurts us. And then he goes to OKC.
Right, and look at their record. They lost Chet. Woo! They lost Chet for 90% of the season so far, and Hartenstein just holds it down for them. They're the number 1 seed in the West, best defense in the West. Best
defense in the West, and your boy is just unstoppable, man. You know,
it was SGA.
SGA. I don't know how you stop that.
He's a problem. That's my MVP, man.
Absolutely. There's no angle you could put on him. I watched a little bit of that game the other night. Yeah, this guy is ridiculous, man. I don't know how you can't check him. You can't I don't know anybody can guard him head up.
Nah.
You know, it's impossible. And he makes it look easy. That's the problem. You playing against elite athletes.
Yeah.
And he got these cats looking like they not that elite.
He goes at his own pace. You can't even speed him up. You can't speed him up.
You can't. It's rare to find a young cat who got that kind of game though. And it's not the physical, it's the mental.
Mental.
It's the mental piece of his game that's the most impressive. Demeanor never changes. He stays the same way. He's going to get his buckets. He's going to do what he has to do every single night. And he has got to be the lead for the MVP at this point because I don't see anybody else who plays like that. You know, we don't have an answer for him. I don't know anybody got an answer for him.
We don't.
You know,
Sadly.
Zero.
Sadly, man. If you guys want to call in, talk to me and Pastor Mike, man, call us up on the KFTV Discord. I want to shout out the rhyme animal Chuck D, Pastor Mike. Never misses a show, man. He's in here. He's the #1 champion of the KnicksFanTV wave. Shout out to Chuck D. He sends a comment. He says, people forget that Tibbs was on the edges after that Dallas game 2 years ago. Luka Doncic, got the free throw. He said 11-man rotation in different schemes. Then he did it his way. He's driving his way to the rims. TJ Warren will fit with attitude.
Well, tell Chuck we got a lot in common. Because Chuck and I are both from Roosevelt.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't know you were from the Velt.
I'm from the Velt, man.
I didn't know you was from the Velt, man. Wow. Man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, matter of fact, my aunt was in school with Chuck at around the same time.
Okay.
One of my aunts, she was young. She was young. She's only like 11 years older than me. But
yeah.
I'm from the Velt, born and raised. Bro.
I did not know that, man. Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, now we got to talk offline, man. We got to call Chuck and talk offline. I had no idea, man. All this whole time, for some reason, I thought you was from the South. Like, I know you're a Morehouse man. I know that.
Everybody think that because when I left New York to go to college, I never came back until '04. So I left in '89. I went to Morehouse, then I went to grad school at Duke. Then I stayed in North Carolina after I graduated for 8 years, and then came back home. So people think because I came from down south back here, I'm from the South. No, I'm from Roosevelt, bro. Man, let me
Wow.
tell you how crazy. My father used to be the assistant superintendent of Roosevelt School. Then he was assistant superintendent of Hempstead Schools.
Wow.
I actually had issues in Roosevelt High School. I had to end up going to Freeport
Yeah.
to graduate. So I'm Long Island, bro. I'm
Oh,
Long Island.
wow. I did not know that, man. Salute to Chuck. Chuck says the Velt salutes you, man. Velt salutes
Yeah,
you, man.
man. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
Roosevelt, bro.
Bombshell. That's great to know, man. That's great to know. So that's good. That's what I was wondering. I was like, how's Pastor Mike a diehard Knicks fan, man? He's from the South. Oh, that's an interesting
Nah, bro.
story.
I'm New York. Man, let me tell you. I remember in sports in general. I remember getting on me and my friends getting on our bikes and riding to hospital to see the Jets spring camp. We used to be at Hofstra University.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember being a kid. Very vague, man. My pops used to go to the Nets games at the Coliseum. Like, so basketball, baseball. I mean, let me tell you, I'm a New York fan of the teams that don't win. Knicks, Mets, and Jets, bro.
Yeah.
My last championship was '86. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
15 for the Mets. So I've been fiending for a championship, bro.
I hear you.
Fiending. But
Yeah.
I'm the New York fan of the teams that don't win.
Yeah, Chuck's literally Chuck said literally the same thing. The same
Yeah, bro.
exact
It's
thing,
rough, man. It's rough. I'm not going to let up. Now, I'm even an Islanders fan, man, in
Yeah.
hockey. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my first hockey games going to was with the Islanders for sure at the
yeah,
Coliseum.
bro. And then I played ball. When I played ball for Freeport. And my 87, 88, my junior, we were ranked in the top 5 in Tri-State.
Mm.
We had a killer lineup, man. Like we won the first teams line other than, I mean, Roosevelt teams was cool. We had this team, man. We had our front court in high school. That was my junior year. And I'm playing point guard. But our front court was 6'6", 6'10", no,
Wow.
6'6", 6'8", and 6'11, bro.
Wow, that's
It was
crazy.
high school. High school. It was crazy. And then I never forget, we got upset in New Rochelle.
Mm.
New Rochelle and got upset, and it was like a downward spiral from there, bro. It was crazy. But nah, I've been a diehard Knicks growing up in New York, on Long Island, going to the Garden, man, seeing these games. And my favorite Knicks player, Bernard King.
The King.
Bernard,
The King.
Bernard King was
I
my
feel like
favorite.
he goes underappreciated as the years
Absolutely.
go by. Right? Talk about it, man. Give the King
Because
some love, man.
it's pre-knee injury, Bernard King. After that, if he had that injury now, he'd be back quick. Those days, that blowout was a problem, right? But Bernard King before the big knee injury, who checks Bernard? Nobody could take Bernard. He's dropping 55 on Bird, 50 back to back. Like, he was a beast. That baseline fadeaway, I never get that shot. He was a monster. So to me, Bernard might be the most underappreciated Knick, because a lot of cats don't know how amazing and what a scoring monster Bernard King was back in the days, man. But I remember look, Sugar Ray, man. Back in them days have guard. I mean, these were guys who were beasts. And Knicks had some players, man. But Bernard King is probably my favorite Knick, bro, because of his ability to score from anywhere on the court. And I like his versatility. He was fluid on defense and offense, but he was a problem, man. You couldn't leave him alone. He was a problem, man. And I think if he had more longevity than the Knicks without that big injury, I mean, he's always going to go down on the top players in NBA to me. But for sure, but I think a lot of Knicks fans, younger Knicks fans, don't know how good this dude was. You know, and he will always be my favorite Knick just because of his capacity to score from anywhere. He had the quick first step that people underestimated. That first step was a monster to the hole, and then he pull up on you. I mean, you know what I often wonder, Bear? I wonder how some of those players back in the '80s and would fare now, because these guys, remember, these are the days when teams are averaging 120. Even back in the days before the three-point line were dropping 100 points a game. These guys were efficient scorers.
Yeah.
But I wonder how good a lot of these guys would have been if it was acceptable back then to do what we see now with these long threes and guys coming at the logo. Because a lot of these guys were natural shooters, man, and natural scorers. But the game was so different. You know, the game was so different. It was basic. The big man played the low post. You rotated on the boxes. You did high picks low, rotated around the way. I mean, you had a lot of things that the game now is so radically different. And I think about a lot of those guys who were great scorers back then. they would dismantle some teams now. George Gervin would dismantle some cats right now.
Alex English. People always
Alex
talk about Alex
English.
English.
But that wingspan, these guys would dismantle some teams right now with the way the game is played. So yeah, I think it's a different game, but that's my favorite Knick, though.
That's dope. That's dope. My guy JJ in this chat said, "This is my type of guy right here." Pass the mic is talking that talk, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to Bro Mike on the Facebook side, checking in from work. Bro Mike, I see you in there. Let's see who else. What the people got to say. One Sick Mini on the IG says Bernard King. He throws the flex emoji in there. Absolutely, man. So if you had to go starting 5 of your favorite players.
Ooh.
Give me a starting 5 of your favorite players.
Ooh. So I gotta qualify this. Now, I don't wanna, it's hard for me to put, like, if you put current, I don't want to put current Knicks in this line.
Okay.
Right? Because if you put current Knicks, and Jalen is a Knick, no hands down, but I don't want to put the current guys in this line.
Okay.
But if I think a lot of cats don't, I'll get to this. The reason why Sugar Ray Richardson is in my line, right? Michael Ray Richardson, is because if you remember, there was an interview Magic Johnson did years ago and said that was the only person he was afraid to guard in the league because he was that disgusting. The drugs and everything through him, but that dude was, when I heard, and people forget, there was an All-Star game where him and Jordan played together. Where Richardson and Jordan played in the backcourt together for All-Star game. There was one All-Star that he had. I mean, he was that good. Drug killed it. But when I heard Magic say that, when they had that documentary on him, and he said that's the one cat I did not like to guard because he was a big guard. He had vision for days, can shoot outside, can penetrate. So he's on that lineup. Bernard is on that lineup. I mean, Melo got to be in the lineup, right? Patrick got to be in the lineup. Now, and I got to get this part too, even though Richardson is in the lineup, but man, I'm a Mark Jackson fan, bro. I'm Mark Jackson. Let me tell you the one moment I contemplated giving up the Knicks, the one moment in my entire life where I almost said, I'm done. Man, when we had Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland at the same time. And got rid of both of them. And then that's when we bring in Doc and Hart. I was like,
yeah.
I remember saying, wait a minute, you got both of these cats? And I get the tension that was probably there.
Yeah.
But Rod, let me tell you how much I like Rod. I remember years ago when St. John was ranked high going to NCAA, and they ran up on DePaul. And Rod Strickland baked them, bro. Like killed them. And I was like, so to see these two guys, that was a move I was sad about. But Mark got to be in there. Michael Ray Richardson, Pat, Bernard, Melo. That's my. I mean, there's a lot of other guys I could throw in there from the older like 70s, 80s, but those guys are some of my favorite players to watch.
That's a unique 5, man. That's from your time.
It's a different 5. It's a different 5.
That's a different 5. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking again, Bernard pre-injury, Richardson without the addiction. Like this was an all-star. He was an all-star. You got Mark, because one of the greatest moments, back in the days, the Knicks, because I'll be 54 this year, right? So one of the greatest moments was coming on the fast break, Mark on that break with Pat on the wing, bro, and something coming.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
No look from behind the head, everything.
It's coming. It's coming. Everybody start getting up in the ground because it's about to come. So it was a level of excitement with Mark. And also, here's my contention. Pat didn't develop that outside shot until Mark was traded, bro. Because who got Pat the ball where he needed it, man?
True.
So all of a sudden, Pat developing his outside shot, and that was great. But when Mark left, that's when he had to work because Mark knew where to get Pat the ball, man, to make it easy for him. So that's a lineup. Now, is it the best 5 that we could conjure up? Probably not. But I'm taking other factors at stake in that, and I think those guys. I remember watching all these games, man, and I think that's a beast lineup to me.
That's what's
That,
up, man. Hey,
yeah,
it's a five unique to you. That's why I like to have these conversations.
yeah,
Is everybody
yeah,
has a different five. Some go all time. Some go back from their era. So that's
yeah.
dope, man. I could definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, also, you had mentioned during the service yesterday, you're a Morehouse man. I'm a
Yeah.
Hampton guy. I went to
All right.
Hampton. Shout out to the real HU. You know, the real HU is this.
I like it.
But you
I
are
like
gonna
it.
be honored down at Morehouse. When is that gonna be? Tell the people, man.
That's April 10th, man. They have at Morehouse in the Martin Luther King Chapel, they have what they call the Hall of Honor. And they have all these portraits of historical figures in African American history and in the community and Morehouse men. And so what's going to be unique about this is we're one of the rare. When my wife became the first Black female president of New York Theological Seminary, she was honored. So we're one of the few couples that'll be in there together in the hall with portraits. So it's a big deal, man. I remember being, as I said yesterday, I remember being a student there, walking through there and seeing all these people and like, whoa, the contributions. And so to get there now is a big deal. So that picture will hang in Morehouse Chapel way beyond my years. And it's big. My son is a Morehouse man too. So we kept it in. My son went to Morehouse, my daughter went to Spelman, and my wife and I met there. So it's been an amazing journey, but it's a big honor, man. So they'll do the unveiling of my portrait on April 10th.
Nice.
During the service, yeah, at Morehouse, man.
Nice.
So it's a big deal, bro.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations to you for sure. Yeah, one of the things when I was going down there for grad school, man, I never really, because, you know, grad school, you're on a different type of wave than you focus, you locked in. So that was one of the things, even though I did explore the city, I didn't really like comb through the AUC as, you know, as much as I would have liked to, man. But that's
Who
definitely.
Who you grad school at?
Georgia State.
Oh yeah, Georgia State is beast right now.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Because they took over downtown.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely, man. So
yeah, that's good.
That was a great chapter in my life, man. But yeah, listen, man, I appreciate the conversation. Let the people know if they want to get involved, if they want to come to a service. Let the people know about the church.
Easy work, man. Easy work. First Corinthian Baptist Church, we call it FCBC, is located 116th on the corner, 116th and Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard in Harlem. I have been there now 20 years.
20
years.
It has
been an amazing journey, bro. When I got to FCBC, there were 300 members. And now they're probably over 11,000 members, man. So it's crazy. But I love this place. We are deeply committed to the community. Chuck would appreciate this. A lot of my time as a kid was spent at the community center in Roosevelt United, serving humanity. And I learned a lot about community service in Roosevelt. And then I was in this program. Funny enough, I had to go to this program because when I started getting in trouble, called Operation Alternative. And the manager of the office was a woman by the name of Anna Drayton. That's Flavor's mother. Right? So God bless her.
Flavor.
But yeah, man. So my connections to different people is deep, but I learned a lot growing up in Roosevelt. It was a rough time. People here in Long Island, and they think, oh, Long Island, Suffolk County. Nah, Roosevelt was not like that.
Yeah, the Velt is still the Velt today.
It's still the Velt to this day. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. It was a different ball game, right? And Chuck and others like that, and Eddie were heroes for us, man. Because,
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie was, and then of course, in terms of ball, you can't look past Dr. J. So, you know, our main street, Nassau Road, is named after Dr. J now. He actually gave money to read the big park that people know about, Centennial Park, with all the summer leagues and stuff like that. So, I mean, Roosevelt is a special place, but it's where I really learned about investing in community, man, because it was a lot of those programs that saved my life. One of my earliest, when I would take martial arts every now and again as a kid coming up, Griff, we should teach martial arts to some of the kids, Professor Griff. So, yeah, it was an amazing time. But yeah, I've been 20 years back in New York in Harlem, and it's been an amazing journey, man. And you know what we do? We live, we love, we serve.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as we were talking about before the show, Alan Houston, you guys have actually done some work with Alan Houston as well.
Yeah, Alan has done some work with us. His family every now and again will come to the church. But when we've had 2 mental health conferences, and last year's conference was focused on mental health, because that's a big thing we do. We have a place called the Hope Center we opened in 2016. We offer full mental health wraparound services, and everything is free. Nobody should have to pay for these kinds of services. So we provided that service to the community for free mental health care. And when we had a mental health conference last year dealing with sports and mental health issues, Alan was one of the panel speakers, and so he's always been supportive, and so I'm great for that. But and then we had a fathers panel one time. That's when Stoudemire was here. He came through and was on the panel. So we've always had some relationship with some of the players, man, in some way, shape, or form. So I'm grateful for that, man. Then one of our members, this little the hookup I had back in the days. One of our members was Melo's assistant, who's now his business partner in the wine industry.
Okay.
She Asani, and she didn't like basketball like that. So she would give me her floor tickets. Me and wife be at the game. So I had the good tickets for a minute.
Yeah.
When Melo was there, bro. So I was like, oh yeah. So I enjoyed when Melo was there for that reason, because I got a lot of tickets, floor tickets, man.
That's dope.
So it was good. But I'm putting my plug into Knicks Nation. We need a chaplain.
We need a chaplain.
And I'm ready for it.
There we go, man. Well, listen, man. We also when you have these community initiatives, we want to just amplify our giving back and get the people involved. So please let me know. We'll be happy to partner up on something as far as it comes to just lifting up the communities, the stuff that we want to get more involved in here as well, man. So any way we can help, just let me know.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate it, man. It was an honor for me to be on here, man. I really appreciate everything you do for the Knicks family, bro. So. Big stuff, man.
Playoff time. We need you back. We're gonna have some round
tables.
I'm
coming back for the playoffs,
man. This is just the intro, man. This is just the
intro.
Yeah,
bro. I'm coming. I'm ready, bro. Let me tell you, the only person who feeling some kind of way right now is my son. When I told him I was gonna be on the joint, he was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
So yeah, but I raised him right, because remember, he grew up most of his life in the South.
Right.
Even back then, he became a diehard Knicks fan because that's all I had.
Yeah.
That's all I talked about. And back then, it was hard to get the Knicks on TV in North Carolina. So I was just diehard, bro. So my son, in turn, became that dude, too. So
there you go, man. Well, yeah, like I said, man, it's just the intro, but we're going to catch up, man. I'll be tuning in every Sunday. I tune in every Sunday, man. I'm live stream gang, but I'll be in the building soon enough.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
All right, Pastor Mike. Appreciate it, man.
Peace, bro.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pastor Michael A. Walren of the First Corinthian Baptist Church, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel, man. I told you I bring unique guests, unique voices to the channel. Tapped in. Shout out to the Velt. Long Island, 516, stand up. Salute to everybody out there, man. Rhyme Animal Chuck D. You see these common links that we didn't even know was there. That's a beautiful thing, man. But shout out to Pastor Mike, man. Great guy. And certainly happy to have him on the show to talk Knicks and talk about FCBC and the initiatives that they got going on there, man. I rock with them heavy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that segment as much as I did. Salute to everybody in the chat, man, wherever you guys are watching from, Facebook, YouTube, Bleacher Report, Twitter, X. Salute to you guys, man. Salute to you guys. After a tough day yesterday, we had to lighten up the mode, lighten up the tone a little bit, and just get back to some fun. Hopefully, listen, we got Philly coming up. They got their own injury issues. We have Memphis, and then we got the Miami Heat this week. So hopefully this is a bounce back week where the Knicks can get back to the winning side of things, man, because this past weekend was certainly a humbling experience. It's tough to admit that we're not in the conversation when it comes to the NBA elite, but that's what it is when it comes to the Knicks, man. It's about putting in the work to ultimately get to the pinnacle, to ultimately get to the promised land, man. And some of you guys, I've been having to talk some of you fans off the ledge, man. Some of you guys, I'm out of here until they get rid of the coach. I'm out of here. They never win this. Hey, man, I give you people perfect alternatives. I said Detroit is looking for fans. If you guys want to run to Detroit, y'all run. But it's all 82 over here. It's all 82. As much as I get frustrated, I vet my frustrations out. I'm here for the next game. I can't wait for the next one. So I'll be tapped in Wednesday. Hopefully you guys will be tapped in to the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. I want to salute one of our sponsors of today's show, A new sponsor alert. Salute to our new sponsor at HelloFresh. Because with HelloFresh, you get farm fresh pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. The thing I like about HelloFresh the best is that, listen, we're all busy. Everybody's on the grind. Some of you guys got kids like me. Hey, sometimes you can't make it to the grocery store. Like, if I got to plan this episode with Pastor Mike, I just did Kevin O'Connor's show earlier. I did another podcast with my guys at ESPN Albany. I didn't have time to get to the grocery store. So with HelloFresh, they will deliver you order your recipes, they deliver it, everything fresh, and you put it together however you like. And I like that because you can control the seasonings you put in. You can control the sodium content and things of that nature. So it's very convenient in that way. And if you're looking for like a couple of good recipes that I like the Southwest style chicken bowl, that's what I'm into. Like, you get your rice, you get your beans, you get your chicken, things of that nature. I go with that. Or the chicken sando sandwich. It's almost like a Philly chicken cheesesteak. And again, these things, you cook it to your style, you cook it to your liking, and they have a lot of healthy options that you can choose from. All right, so what you can do is go to HelloFresh.com, and you can get up to 10 free meals and a free high-protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. One item per box with an active subscription. The free meals is applied as a discount on the first box and for new subscribers only. So if you have HelloFresh already, this offer doesn't apply to you. For new subscribers only, it's going to vary by plan, but again, that's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. All right? So shout out to our friends once again at HelloFresh. Okay. Just getting into some more news also, man. Rest in peace to the legend, Al Trautwig. Han Solo had dropped the news today that Al Trautwig, man, MSG legend, broadcasting legend, Olympics, you name it, passed away. We lost a good one, man. So I was very sad to hear that. You know, Pastor Mike was dropping his memories of Knicks back in the day. Well, when, you can't, forget about the moments that we had with Al Trautwig, because he was such a staple when it came to the broadcast. And when MSG would first start, we all remember the theme music and things of that nature. So, yeah, rest in peace to Al, man. All of our heroes are leaving us, man. All of our heroes are leaving us. And we posted it on our KFTV IG, and the tributes are coming in. Fat Joe, Q Rich, the Real Web Star, a lot of people, man. Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward said, man, this is tough to hear that news. Praying for his family as they mourn and remember his legacy at the Garden. So these were some of the tributes left on the KFTV IG. So shout out to Al. And the thing about Al, and that's why I love, and you guys should go back and check out my conversation with Kenny Albert. Like, guys like Al and Kenny Albert, like, those guys can cover a number of sports. You know how hard this is nowadays? Like, everybody in our generation is so specialized or stuck to one sport. Those guys can cover multiple sports. Basketball, football, hockey, you name it. You had to be thorough back in those days, man. And that's what Al was. Like, play-by-play, an analyst, studio host. He was versatile, man. Versatile, classy, always, fresh with the suits. Yeah. Shout out to Al, man. That was like the expectation when you tapping into a Knick pregame, was Al was going to break it down for you, break down the storylines and everything. So once again, rest in peace to the legend, Al Trautwig, man. Lost a good one. Yankees on MSG too, right. I am Gotham. Salute to my franchise channel members there. Salute to my franchise channel members. I see you guys. And Bleacher Report, I'm going to drop off. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Salute to Bleacher Report. So, yeah, man. Tough news to lose Al Trautwig. Salute to everybody watching on the gram still. That's still with us. Red's So Amazing says, yeah, RIP facts. Yeah. He had the voice. Yeah, right. That's one thing with Al. Like, some of those guys, they had that distinct voice that was, like, tailor-made. Like that was your job. You were tailor-made for that job. And that's what Al Trautwig had, man. So, Seemed like a real good guy. I know Han Solo said that was his mentor, so certainly he's taking it hard. And, yeah, man, we just 68 years old. And a Long Islander. Another Long Islander, man. So shout out to Al. So, yeah. That's just that, man. Yeah. What else? Couple other notable things. I saw here where... Did you guys see the comment from Josh Hart after the Celtics lost last night? Did you guys see the comment from Hart? And I told you, I said this earlier this season, man. When Hart was making these comments, I said, be careful. Be careful what you're doing, Hart, man. You don't want to poke the fans. So this is what Hart had to say after the loss. And this was with Newsday Steve Popper. Let me close this real quick. This is what Newsday Steve Popper. This is what Hart had to say about losing to the top NBA teams. He says that's for y'all. I mean, I'm going to sit here and he says that's for y'all. I mean, y'all are going to sit there, meaning the media, and dissect the game, and that's your job. He says, for us, we're not trying to close a gap with the Boston Celtics. They're the champs for a reason. They got all NBA players. They got all-stars. They got a heck of a team. So we're not trying to close the gap on them. We're trying to make sure we get ourselves to where we need to be at the end of the year. And right now, we're not there. That's what Josh Hart said. So my thing is like, if you're not trying to close the gap on the Celtics, then what the hell are we doing? What are we doing here, Josh? What are we talking about? And this is what I mean. Like, you got, because early in the year, he was like, oh, man, y'all fans, man, y'all crying. And I read it. Every time he's taking shots at the fans, I was cringing because I said, Josh, this is New York. You gotta don't poke the bear. Yeah, if somebody chat says, I don't know what that means. He got himself tied up in a twist. Josh, here's the thing. When you haven't won yet, you gotta chill on the taking shots at everybody else, man. Focus just on the court. You can't be taking shots at the fans when things are hot. And then, when things aren't going so well, like, oh, no, that's on y'all. You can't be doing that. This is New York. Because whenever y'all go out there and you get dragged across the bar like that, fans remember. And they're going to call you out. He took a shot at the Minutes Police. I thought that was pretty funny. That was comedic relief for me. But then it came out that you got a chronic knee injury. So Minutes Police are going to say stuff. You got to be careful, man. Just let the play do the talking. That's all I'm going to say. Because early in the season, we said, oh, y'all crying, y'all panicking, y'all this. I said, he's putting himself in a corner. Because if you can't deliver, fans are always going to call you out. And Josh is a guy, he checks his Twitter. He's on the Twitters. He's on the Instagrams. He's got the podcast. So he knows what the fans are saying. So just be mindful when you calling out fans like that. You just got to be mindful, man. Because fans are not so forgiving. I understand it. I understand the frustration, what you're trying to say. But, just let the play do the talking. You know what I'm saying? Just let the play do the talking. Anyway, man, I had a great show today, man. As I said, I kicked off the day. I was on ESPN Radio. My guys up in Albany, Roger and Mike, salute to them. You can tap in on that interview. My interview with Kevin O'Connor is coming out on Yahoo Sports, maybe sometime this week. I think either tomorrow or Thursday. And then, hey, we had a great session today with Pastor Mike. So we are going to do a game preview for the Knicks versus Philly game on Tuesday, I believe. We're working on some more stuff with some more great guests. And yeah, man, I just appreciate y'all, man. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to the number one show for the fans, by the fans. Hey, you guys have any suggestions, whoever, you want a guest to come on, you want us to do certain things, let us know, man. Leave some feedback. It's always appreciated. And yeah, man, that's it. I'm going to get to dinner, and I'm going to get to a little Night Agent. I'm going to tap in with Night Agent on Netflix. You guys have been dropping all the recommendations, and I've been appreciating it, man. Lioness, fire. Lioness was off the hook. I did the Eddie Redmayne joint on Peacock, the Sniper joint. I forgot the name of it. Fire, off the hook. And the other thing I'm working on, Paradise. Paradise was crazy. I'm waiting on the new episode. I'm caught up on Paradise. Yeah, man. Shout out to C-Mac. C-Mac, if you're watching, call me up, man. I got some customers for you. Call me up. We got to talk. All right? We got to talk on the cable, with the cable guy. So, yeah, man. The Paradise was crazy, man. Sterling Brown. What a fantastic actor, man. Sterling Brown was amazing. Paradise was crazy, man. I was loving it. Anyway, man, drop your recommendations below. Let's talk about it. Leave me some comments in the comment section. Salute to the Replay Gang, and remember that the show's available in audio podcast format. When you guys, if you guys are Apple subscribers or Spotify, leave us a review. Goes a long way. Leave us a review. 5-star. Hey, that would be appreciated. All right, see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.